Good afternoon. I am Tracy Spence with your newscast. This newscast is brought to you courtesy of BioLife Energy Systems. Come join the living. Call them at 800-875-5433. USA Credit Repair, the key to beautiful credit. You may call them at 800-786-1330. And Cruising with the Case Handler, a show on personal injury and immigration, weekdays 8:30 a.m., on Saturdays 7 p.m. and 12 noon on Sundays. Now for the news in details. Reports have surfaced that the Jamaican government is to lift the veil of secrecy and publish the names of at least 30,000 taxpayers who received almost $250 billion in tax write-offs between 2014 and 2015. Finance and the Public Service Minister, Dr. Nigel Clark, was not in charge of the Treasury at the time when the decision was taken to write off the mammoth sums as uncollectible without telling Jamaicans exactly who benefited. But he argued in an opinion piece published in a local newspaper that the situation could raise serious questions about transparency with so much money cleared under a low-keyed broad-brush approach policy. Clark's article pledged a course of action in response to a newspaper's report last week about 86 companies benefiting since 2018 from $4 billion in corporate income tax arrears being wiped away. In 2013, when the International Monetary Fund forced Jamaica to put in place legislation to govern tax write-offs and remove ministerial discretion, a new requirement was for the Minister of Finance to publish the details. For the first 2 years, 2014 and 2015, the $250 billion cleared was reported, which only stated that the figure was uncollectible and related to public bodies or taxpayers as the sole clues as to who benefited. Stand Up for Jamaica, a rights group working for years in the local prisons, is expressing outrage at yesterday's report that 40 new positive 19 cases were recorded at the Torres Street Adult Correctional Center in Jamaica within the previous 24 hours. According to the Department of Correctional Services, DCS, of the new cases, 2 are staff members and 12 are inmates, adding that all the positive test cases were placed in isolation and contact tracing and line listing activities were conducted to curtail the spread in the institution. Carla Golata, the group's executive director, said the National Security Minister should immediately reconvene a meeting of stakeholders, including the Public Defender, Director of Public Prosecutions, and the Chief Justice to apply an urgent fix. The advocate argued that keeping low-risk prisoners in the unsuitable prison, as well as those convicted on short sentences before the pandemic set in, amounts to applying the death penalty. Meanwhile, Jamaica's Minister of Justice, Delroy Chuck, says the government is working towards introducing virtual hearings and trials in the criminal justice system, as well as installing smart boards in lockups. Chuck said the installation of smart boards will facilitate the participation of persons in police lockups in virtual hearings and trials without the need to physically transport them to court. Chuck was speaking at the ceremony to hand over office equipment at the Justice Training Institute JTI offices in St. Andrew on Friday. The office equipment was provided by Global Affairs Canada to support training activities for justices of the peace. Finally, the independent review team, which has been established to examine the concerns that have been raised about the Caribbean Examination Council's CXC grading system, is to provide a report by October 16. The timeline was given on Friday by CXC Chairman Professor Hilary Beckles. According to a release, the team met with Beckles on Friday and will commence work immediately to present the report to him before the deadline. The review team is to also examine the modified approach for the administration of the July-August 2020 Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate CSEC and the Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Examination CAPE examinations and the moderation process that was applied to the school-based assessment for both examinations, the release from CXC stated. And that is it for the news. This newscast came to you courtesy of BioLife Energy Systems. Come join the living. Call them at 800-875-5433. USA Credit Repair, the key to beautiful credit. You may call them at 800-786-1330. And Cruising with the Case Handler, a show on personal injury and immigration, weekdays 8:30 a.m., on Saturdays 7 p.m. and 12 noon on Sundays. On behalf of the news and production team, I am Tracy Spence. Do have a good afternoon.